All right, today what we're going to do is talk about connecting the dots for the last course projects and tasks that you've got, why it's important, how we can do it, where you need to do that, and review some expectations. Then lastly, I'll come in, review some of the legal situations, some of the demographics information you need to do, and then some final reminders as we get ready for the last few weeks of the course. All right? So first off, we're going to start out with a quick fire type workshop here. So individually, just write this down. It shouldn't take very long to do. You should do this pretty quickly, but first off, just write out your business name. If you don't know what that is, we got problems. You should know that by now. I should make that pretty simple for the whole group. Write down then how you define your business name. If you're not sure what I mean by that, we're talking about your commander's intent that we went over and made to stick. And then lastly, think of how you can provide a vision that speaks to the number one client group. So we should know who that target group is, but how would you provide a vision for them? So business name, define your business name very quickly, basically why you gave it that. And then finally, how would you provide a vision for your number one client group? Try to keep this very simple. This should go very quick. Write those down, 1, 2, and 3. As we're finishing that piece up, what we want to do with these is see if they connect. If they don't, then we've got to make some changes, but hopefully you're in a position where these things are doing that. First thing we want to do is see if the name connects to the commander's intent or your definition, and then lastly to your vision for that number one client group. Is that consistent? Is it simple? Number one principle we talked about at Majestic. Next, do the dots connect for that number one population or target group to the equipment, to all the different forms of expenses that you're going to have in your business? In other words, the revenue of your target group should connect to the expenses. If they don't, we're being inconsistent in our needs and concerns for the client, and then actually not being very efficient with our expenses based on what are the needs of our revenue generating group. So again, then, it's the emphasis of the goals, the direction, the vision, and the name. And then last, does it connect, number one, to the client's view? One of the big mistakes you can make is you design this business through your eyes only, where we need to continually go back and look at it through the eyes of our clients and what their needs are. And sometimes those don't match, and probably more important, you do it through the needs of the client than yourself. So hopefully those matched up. If not, then you need to make some changes. That's why we want to connect things. Secondly, some ways you can do this to help you set up your business design for Project 6. Again, Project 6 is the presentation that your group will do here in the last 2 weeks. Each group will take one class period and present to us, and I'll go into detail with that. Project 7 is your final piece, and that is actually the written business plan document that we'll hand in the last day. So first off, with 6, creating that business, you need to have that team name trigger what the client's needs are. But what we want to do from Made to Stick is go back and find that emotional connection, what triggers their emotions. It's very important in the presentation to provide a vision of your business. And the best way to do that is both through a facility layout, but you can also use internet pictures and so forth of similar businesses so we get a vision of it from the outside to the inside. That's been really helpful with groups in the past. Again, that visual tour, as you're telling us about your business, we actually see it and go through it. You want to create a vision that meets, again, the needs. We've talked about this, and the best way to do that is by using stories, the power of those. They're impactful, so find ways to do stories, and hopefully somebody in your group is a good storyteller. Remember, we want to appeal to the client's identity and their self-interest, and then a requirement within the outline of Project 6. You have a lot of flexibility to build it however you want, but you are required to give us your marketing plan and address the 6 principles of success, and then add a 7th one, which is sell us on that. Where can we get some helpful resources for the things I just talked about? This is a facility layout site that actually Precore you go to. It's free. You can go through and design a whole layout system and tailor it to your business. One that's a good physical therapy resource is apttohere.org, and a fitness resource is IdeaFit. So those are 3 resources. I'd write those down. and you can look at those. There's others out there, but those are the ones that have been helpful in the past. So a review of expectations here for 492 as we finish up. Project 6, again, is your individualized presentation of your business. You design and tailor the outline or the rubric, okay? And then you also put points with that. So look at the rubric and you'll see what I mean there. You need to select the audience that you're going to speak to in this presentation. It can be clients, it could be investors, consultants, anyone you want it to be. So it's up to you. And then you can use the parts of your business plan, which is Project 7, to decide what you need in the presentation that will make it stick. So see rubric Project 6A, that's the actual outline, and you'll design a rubric with points that serves as your outline there also. 6B is the peer evaluation that you'll do after it, similar to the one we did for Project 5. What will happen with the presentations, a group that presents on Monday, I'll hand you this peer evaluation form after you present on Monday, and then you can meet and have till Wednesday, the next class period we meet, to submit those peer evaluations. Project 7, and this is the complete business plan, and this is a written document that's submitted on Angel through Turnitin. This must address everything in detail. You have to use TRI. That's a given by now. I hope we understand that. Second thing, it must be written as if the reader has no knowledge of the health industry or that was involved in the course. All right. See rubric 7. You design this rubric, so you should understand the terms on there, and hopefully what it's done is set you up for success that way. Our final evaluation then is the very last day of class. So we'll submit and turn it in before class starts, one document for each group, and then we'll actually do the evaluations that you designed in class. Don't do those ahead of time. It won't take the whole period. You'll bring in the hard copies. We'll do a peer, self, and a team evaluation. And those are rubrics, again, you design those, so it's a way to have evaluation tools or quality controls that you may need to design for Project 7. All right, so hopefully that's covered some of the expectations as we go. Next, we're going to go ahead and do some legal review, and then a quick video on designing a business plan, and then some final reminders. All right, these are things we should have covered, but hopefully I'll do it one more time. So legal issues for your business. Again, we should have defenses against negligence. The bottom line here is how we do this is assumption of risk. You should know what the risks are and communicate that to both your staff and your clients. Should have agreements for participation waivers, and then pre and post screens with information to the risks also. Those documents would be good ones to have within your business plan. Contracts for your employees. One example of that, and the reason we did it, is we have one for your team contracts. So if you're still not sure what those are, there's a simple version of that, and we'll use that for your final grade. Some employment law info, all I need you to do is understand it. We've got the 6 different ones here. Just know what those are. The textbook went over those in detail, but we just have an understanding. A lot of that's used in your staff training and orientations, and then also would be any policy manuals, continuing professional developments or continuing education, and then Affordable Care Act education. So again, just understand those. The needs that you're going to have for the 2 projects, though, are you do have to address your liability and insurance needs. Again, we went through these before. The book has talked about them. But you need to develop a legal or liability checklist for your business. That should be in Project 7 for sure. And we need to connect the Affordable Care Act, what those considerations are from a legal standpoint. You pick out and explain to me why you have those choices from an insurance standpoint. So the types of businesses, again, insurance. The general liability, I'm guessing all of you are going to have that. Your professional liability, if you're a PT, it's going to be required, but that's your malpractice. We've got the other types. Again, it is dependent on what type of things you're doing with your business and what is the design of that. But I'm looking for you to pick the appropriate ones for that and know why you're using them. Some great resources. We pointed this out before, but again, smallbusinessassociation.gov. And then we've got, it actually goes, there's a link where you go right into the insurance, so it can help you with all of this. Incredible resource, the insurance end. And then lastly here we can go small business insurance for Pennsylvania itself. So those are 3 great resources. I'd write those down right now so you've got those if you haven't used them already. So we're going to do a couple workshops here. I'll present them to you. Go ahead and pause the PowerPoint and the video here. Finish them up. They shouldn't take more than a minute or 2, but I encourage you to do it because it's a great way to get you started on pieces for your group. So the first one is for the insurance needs. You can see we need to go through your Affordable Care Act. What do you need to address in Project 6 and what do you need to address in your Business Plan 7? What needs to be covered completely, what you need to address, and then responsible for insurance information. Who does that? You know, one of the ways to divide these things up is people be experts in different areas, a finance person, an insurance person, a marketing person, and so forth. But you can do it however. Just make sure that you talk about when the first draft is done and you all check those because again, it is a team grade. So go ahead and pause at this point, finish that, and then I'm going to go ahead and move on now for the video to keep going. So the evaluation of the business operation is the next step. You need to visit your objectives and goals again. And number 1, you need to know who your target population is and those demographics. So you need to get some hard data on the age group, okay? And that can be a range. Maybe it's 20 to 30, maybe it's 50 to 60. It could be several of them, but know what your target groups are and what those ages are. Then you want to look at the range from your business. What we're talking there is just putting a circle around it. Is it 25 miles out, 50 miles out, 200 miles out? What is that? And then why? That should be a big part of where your business is and why you've located it there. That then you can go ahead and get some data on the socioeconomics of your target area besides the age, the range, where we start to look at the economics and the backgrounds and the kind of finances available to your clients. And then look at any other factors. So again, another brainstorming session, just focusing on demographics. Pause the video here, but what we're looking at doing is number 1, you've got to pick a location and it should have a good financial as well as socioeconomic or demographic reason for why you picked what you picked. Another thing you could look at is obviously tax situations are different by state, by local government. That may be an impact in it. So you want to look at the demographics again, your age groups of your target group, the range just from your business location, socioeconomics. You also want to look at other health centers. Maybe that's competition, maybe that's complementary health centers. And then lastly, your public transportation if you're in a metropolitan area or in a rural. Does that help you? Does it hurt you? What are the implications there? So go ahead and pause. Again, do this real briefly. Shouldn't take more than a couple minutes, but it'll give you a good start on this area also. I'm going to go ahead and again keep moving. The next step is expansion, where we're looking at the future plans or goals of the business. Big one here is looking at the future trends in the industry. We want to stay a step ahead instead of reacting to the business changes. So look at new technology in the industry, specifically in your area, and then look at niche markets. Another way we've talked about this is additional profit centers from the cash cow that you've got or your number 1 revenue generating stream. Look at new ways, but also look at new niches in the industry. And then ways to get new customers then obviously. Retention should be number 1, but we want to look at these additional profit centers or new trends in the industry to create new customers as the industry changes. So again, those should connect. Be prepared for questions at the end of the presentation. You're going to get those, so if you look at these futuristic pieces, that usually answers most of them. So again, do one more session on this one, looking at future trends, technology. You could come up, brainstorm amongst each other, and look at your needs of your customers as long as new needs for new customers along with the retention. So again, pause it here, finish this up, and we'll move on. Again, I'm going to continue. So the wrap up or big finish for Project 6, preparation. Make sure you address directly with the presentations. Number 1, the audience needs. To look at now, Look in the near future and look in the far off future. Make sure your presentation goes full circle. Just like we've done for the CPDs, make sure you give us a good intro telling us the objectives and goals of your presentation that day and your business, what you're talking about, but then have a great review and finish to it, full circle. Make sure you're using the success principles. That will help you connect the dots, and you're required to do that in your marketing piece anyway. I'm looking for balance in team roles. I want you to clearly understand what you're talking about, all phases of it. You could have it where, again, people are experts, but again, we should have a good understanding overall of the business. The day of the presentation, unless in the peer evaluation you comment, they contributed in a different way other than what I saw in the presentation, then if there's an imbalance in the amount of time spent in that, obviously the points will differ by individuals. Prepare for questions. You might want to think about who's going to answer what. It could be the experts in those areas, but obviously it could be one person as kind of the lead role like we did with the search committees. And then lastly, finish with the closing. Thank you. And who, what, and why you would be doing your closing and kind of wrapping it up. Big sell there. Your business plan prep is project 7, but again, one of the things we can do is, as the key points here is, they're not the same, but you can use project 7 to help you develop project 6. So what I would suggest is you work on developing a complete business plan, which is the written document for project 7, but then you pick out what you need to use for 6 for the presentation itself. What I'm going to do is show a video here from Small Business Association where it talks about really great simple steps that can be used in the design of a business plan, which you can use for either 6 or 7. And then we'll review that quick. So here is the presentation.
Creating a business plan is the most important step you can take towards success. Think of a business plan like a roadmap. It sets the direction for the early years of your business and outlines how you plan to make sales and grow revenues. A business plan generally includes 6 sections. They are an executive summary, a company overview, market research data, a description of your products or services, your marketing and sales approach, and your financial projections. Let's take a closer look at each section. An executive summary is the first section of your plan. Use it to introduce your business and identify your customers. Make a short but strong case that explains how you'll make your business successful. The next section is your company description. Provide a high-level explanation of your business, what it will do, and how it will make money. Include a mission statement and the location of your business. Identify key employees and any other qualities that make your business distinctive. Next up is your market research. Use this section to provide detailed information that shows you've done your homework and that you understand your industry and target market. Be sure to include an assessment of your competitors and any legal requirements impacting your company and industry. The fourth section is a description of your products or services. What are you selling? How will it meet the needs of your customers? What are its benefits compared to the competition? Answer these questions in detail, and be sure to note the current development stage of your business. Discuss marketing and sales in the 5th section of your plan. Explain how you'll identify potential customers. You'll also need to include your marketing approach. Provide financial projections in the final section of your business plan. This is important for investors and lenders because it explains how your business will meet its financial obligations and maintain a positive cash flow balance. Are you ready to get started? Build your customized business plan using SBA's free step-by-step tool. It'll help you navigate each section and enter your information. You can even save your plan and finish it later. Print, download, email, and update your plan anytime. Try out SBA's Build Your Business Plan tool at sba.gov/businessplan to get started today. Are you in?
So hopefully what that did is give you some pointers, Couple things to review on that. They talked about an executive survey. It's just an introduction to your business, identifying your customers like we've talked. Kind of a company overview. This is where we want to talk about the mission of your mission statement of your business, but also just explaining it in general. Give us your commander's intent, and that's where the vision comes in. We've got to talk about marketing research, and then legal considerations, your products and services. Give us a description of what you're doing, but also why it is beneficial versus the competition out there. Why is yours better? Marketing and sales, marketing approach and your plan. And then we've got to have some finance. In the presentation, you don't have to talk about that. That's up to you if you think it's needed or not. But in the business plan, Project 7, again, you must have an income statement and explanation of those. So, hopefully you got it, meaning the goals of the textbooks and the course was really a couple things here. Number one, hopefully you learn how to do your research. When you have quality research, which we should have a ton by now, it's going to be easy to pick out the design of your business plan. It's okay to be a spotter versus a creator. Again, I'm not expecting you to come up with some brand new idea, be the next Amazon or Google, but I am expecting you to spot quality organizations that have some consistencies in the design direction you want to go, and we can reference those correctly and use some of that information and put the uniqueness of our own creativity into it from there. Look at the hurdles and barriers. We talked about this as the curse of knowledge. Again, you want to know where your weaknesses are, and then look at what would be some problems in the design of your business, and that way you could actually be better prepared to deal with those. So provide a checklist for solutions then. Communication is the key, so in the presentation, try to keep it simple. Obviously there's time deadlines you've got to meet, but again, a solidly researched project and a solidly built plan should have plenty of information so that you can focus on the 6 principles to give us a presentation that's going to stick. And then with the right insight and the right message, anyone can make an idea stick, and that's what we're trying to do. I do believe in that from the book from Heath and Heath. So, the epilogue, the simple goal was here is for a normal person with a normal job who made a difference. Again, I'm all expecting you to contribute, and you all can. Whether you are the most gifted, least gifted, doesn't matter. Again, it's all an effort here. So doing a normal job, if we all contribute by doing our job, then it can make a difference, and we can design a really successful business here. If you remember this quote from the beginning of class, I believe it wholeheartedly. 99% of doing a good job is showing up and working hard 100% of the time. So again, we all contribute. You're going to have a successful Project 6. You're going to have a successful Project 7. And the grade will just be a byproduct of that, a quality grade. Some schedule reminders. You need to come to the class presentations. It's a double whammy if you're absent for those, unexcused, in your overall performance evaluation. Response quiz number 2 yet is to come in class. Basically, it's a pop quiz. That'll take about 2 minutes. If you're here, it's a no-brainer. If you're not, you get a 0, so it kind of rewards people for coming to the presentations and being respectful to each other. And then each team must email me your Project 6 rubric outline with the points. I just need it by 10 a.m. the day that you're presenting as an attachment on the email. I'll print it out when I'm having a coffee and then bring it and go over it with you before you present. But make sure that's done correctly and the points all total up to the correct number. All right? So, final thought, same high. Consider yourself capable of great things. You guys have done an outstanding job to this point. It's been fun. Finish strong here, and there's no doubt your grade will produce that, but more importantly, you'll feel good about designing a business in the industry you're going to take your careers in. So finish strong, 100% on every each, and we got her done. Thanks.